Republic of Nigeria at the age of 24. And he was Nigeria's permanent representative at the United Nations before he was 26. Dr. Jack Yakubu Gowon became head of state of Nigeria at the age of 32. And guess what? He was a bachelor. People like King Alfred Dietispi, they became governors. Many of them, Dr. Sam Ogbemudia, at the age of between 28 and 30. Today, you have Nigerians who are between 30 and 35 still struggling to pass through the university to get their first degree. Because a course that ought to have been for 4 years is elongated through strikes and other catastrophes to become a course of 7 years, 8 years, and 9 years. Now, the children that ought to be protected are rendered most vulnerable. In Nigeria, they go to school. In their schools, they are captured by Boko Haram, by kidnappers, by armed bandits, and their parents are made to pay ransom. In fact, in the one that happened in Kaduna, that one took on an higher altitude when the kidnappers now demanded from the parents of the kidnapped children to buy and bring for them bags of rice, beans, gari, palm oil, vegetable oil, sugar, salt, Maggi cubes. They even dictated how many of these should be brought, or else they will kill their children. That was to keep the children alive for the purpose of ransom being paid for them. So we have a situation where we are all vulnerable, not just our children. In schools, we are vulnerable. In our markets, we are vulnerable. In our offices, we are vulnerable. On the streets, we are vulnerable. In our farms, we are vulnerable. In the air, we are vulnerable. On the waters, we are vulnerable. Everywhere, there is problem. Nigeria has never had it so bad. And a country like that, without peace and tranquility, without security and welfare, which are the two primary purposes of government, can never progress. It will just suffer the fate of the barber's chair of perpetual motion on its axis without any progress. And that is why today's symposium, today's workshop on Nigerian children and insecurity is very apt, very apposite, and very timeless, because it presents us an opportunity to x-ray the clear and present danger of the multifarious problems that currently beset the Nigerian child, who, when he is not able to go to school, is also made a child laborer, selling gala and pure water on our streets, or married out as a girl wife to rich people between the ages of 12 and 16. That is not how to grow or develop a country. Nigeria must begin to go back to brass tacks. We need a new constitution for the people, a constitution to be subjected to a referendum for the Nigerian people. Why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy into the document so that it does not just become plastic, it becomes animated. It carries the will of the people. It carries their imprimatur. It becomes legitimate. It becomes respected. It becomes autochthonous. It enjoys the will, respectability, and legitimacy of the people, as the American people did. in about 1788 in Philadelphia, when they met. People like George Washington, they met there, and they agreed to have constitution after debating it between May and September. And they finally subjected what they arrived at to the people who voted into it. That was how they agreed on a presidential system of government. They agreed on the doctrine of separation of powers between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, a doctrine that was in 1748 propounded by the great French philosopher Baron de Montesquieu. It was there they agreed on the doctrine of judicial review, that even after the legislature has made laws, the judiciary can review the laws and strike them down where they feel that they are unconstitutional. The American Constitution is less than 8,000 words. And how many amendments? Less than 25 amendments. And the country is the greatest democracy in the world. The present Nigerian Constitution is illegitimate. Can never take us to El Dorado. Why are we afraid of a new constitution? It was done in South Africa. It was done in Sudan. It was done in Eritrea. It was done in Iraq, in Iran. It was done in Malaysia, when Malaysia and Singapore separated. Why are we afraid of a new constitution? Why are we afraid to discuss Nigerian problems? Why are we patching the walls? Each time the walls develop chaos and cracks, we patch them with mortar, with cement, and believe that the problem is over. When you come back the following day, the cracks are bigger. What do? You go to the bottom of the wall. You bring iron rods. You bring mortar. You basket it from the ground. Then you have a structure standing gidigba. When a tree in your compound is growing roots, wide roots that make your walls to crack, what do? Do you just go and cut off the branches? If you do, more branches will grow and the tap roots will get bigger. So what you do? You go to the tree and go to the tap root and cut them off. Then the tree will die and then your walls will have respite. That is what we need to do for Nigeria, by having a new constitution of the people to be subjected to the people's referendum and plebiscite, as was done to the then Midwest Regional Constitution on the 10th of August 1963, when they left Western Region. We cannot continue to treat serious ailment like epilepsy with drug meant for mere eczema. It will not work. We cannot pretend like the proverbial ostrich that buries his head in the sand, pretending that his backside is not being seen. We cannot pretend to be like the chichidodo bird that Professor Ayikwe Ama envisaged in his novel, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. A bird that hates human excrement with all his soul, but feeds on maggots that wriggle out of decaying human excrement. We cannot continue to pretend that we hate beans, but that our best food is akara and moi moi. We cannot pretend that Hamlet is different from the Prince of Denmark. We cannot pretend to argue that 6 is different from half a dozen. For as long as we do that, for so long, will Nigeria continue to be on a journey to no destination, because there's no compass. The civil populace, the civil society has a job to do. We must galvanize and oppose tyranny from all quarters. It was Leonard Hand who once said that the only price we have to pay for our liberty is eternal vigilance. It was ex-American President Thomas Jefferson who said, there is tyranny when the people fear their government, but there is rule of law triumphant when the government fears their people. I ask you the question, which is the current position in Nigeria? Your answer is as good as mine. God bless you all.
Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.